Well, I'm gonna go get some groceries, wear my mask, hand sanitized, and ready to go. So my youngest kid is coming for dinner tonight, which is awesome. While I'm doing that, I'll talk to you about how I made my dream a reality, because it really is my dream come true, and I really couldn't be happier about it. Every morning I wake up, usually to Sophie sniffing my face and tickling me with her whiskers because she wants to be fed. But I wake up and I don't have to remind myself to be grateful and realize how lucky I am. But I think luck is something that you make. There are certain things in your life you can't control, and I certainly understand that, and I've had plenty of those in my life. But there are also lots of things you can control. Luck is something that you make in a lot of ways. So I'm going to grab my cutting board and we're gonna talk. The first thing I want to say is that it was probably 5 years of dreaming and planning and researching tiny houses before I actually got into my tiny house. And there were many reasons for that. None of them, well, some of them included fear. I am a single mom. Sometimes when you're at the beginning of a dream, a goal, it can seem impossible. Like there's no way you could ever make it happen. You're likely to have a lot of people tell you that there's no way you can do it. But I'm here to tell you, you can do it. The fact is that you have to just start. You have to just decide you're going to do it. You cannot let people tell you that you can't do something that you want to do, because that's ridiculous. Of course you can. Everything that anybody's ever done, I'm sure somebody told them they couldn't do. So when I first started dreaming about tiny houses, I had 2 kids at home. There was no way that I could afford to build a tiny house. There was no way that the 3 of us were going to move into a tiny house. I was just trying to make ends meet and get my kids through school, you know, and off on their own. But I had no doubt that eventually I was going to make this dream come true. What I didn't know was how I was going to make this dream come true. So what did I do? I started researching. I started watching every video that I could find on tiny houses. Thank God for YouTube, because there were a lot of them. So I watched every video. I saved every video that had a layout that I liked or was an interesting idea. I read every blog and every article I could on tiny houses. I started to research, were there any tiny house builders in Canada? Were there any people living in tiny houses in Canada in the cold weather, let alone in Alberta or Calgary, where I am? I knew that what I was going to need to make my dream come true was information, so that I could make informed decisions. So I just started researching, because that's what I could do at the time. So my first bit of advice would be to figure out what you can do instead of focusing on what you can't do. You may be thinking, well, I can't afford to start building a tiny house right now, or I can't move into one because I have responsibilities and or debts. That's great. You can't do those things right now. But what you can do is start to research. What you can do is start to visualize in your mind what it's going to look like your tiny house, how it's going to feel to live in your tiny house, how excited you're going to be. You can do those things. That's my first bit of advice. Focus on the things you can do at each stage versus focusing on the things you can't do, because can't equals stop. Can't equals give up. And I don't believe in that. I think if you focus on can, that means you've still got movement forward. You're still in a place of potential and possibility. And we all need to be in a place of potential and possibility when it comes to our dreams. Number 2 is always be putting one step in front of the other. The only way you're going to get from here to there, from where you are now in, thinking, well, there's just so much that needs to happen before I can make my dream a reality, to your dream being a reality, is keep putting one foot in front of the other. What I did was every week I did something in the direction of my dream. And that could have been as simple as watching some YouTube videos, researching online for builders. It was looking at floor plans. It was taking graph paper out and drawing out some floor plans. It was saving Pinterest photos and Instagram photos of layouts that I liked, not necessarily tiny house layouts. There was a photo I saw of a kitchen that had a farmhouse style sink, and I loved that, so I saved that. Every time I saw something that I loved, I saved it. I went through all of those photos I had saved. I was able to see a common sort of thread. Oh yeah, I really like the look of colored lower cabinets. I really like the look of a wood look countertop. I love the farmhouse style sink, because I kept saving photos. I just saw a pattern, and it really helped me make my decisions when I was doing my design. I really liked the look of open shelves versus upper cupboards. You can always find something to do. You should set yourself, or at least I set myself, a goal of doing at least one thing each week that was about my dream and moving me towards my dream. That really helped, because I always felt like I had movement forward. Do little things that move you towards that goal, and most of it in the beginning stages will be research, but all of that is really important. What were the options? What were people doing? And also in vans and bus conversions, things like that. That gave me so many ideas that I was able to incorporate into my tiny house that really helped. So you can do that. If you keep putting that one foot in front of the other, you will absolutely get somewhere better, get to your dream eventually. That is important, because that keeps your dream alive, and that helps you when you go through the times where people are telling you that there's no way you'll ever get to where you want to go. Which brings me to point number 3. Let me tell you, having pot drawers in your tiny house is awesome. I would highly recommend that, but I digress. So number 3 is, you're going to get a lot of people who tell you there's no way you can make your dream happen. The majority of them will not have, evil intentions. They will legitimately be worried about you, and the fact that you're, doing something that is so outside what's considered normal, and they're worried about you because they care about you. So it's important to remember that, and they're doing it because they love you and they care about you. However, it's still negativity, and you're going to get it. Be prepared. Unless you're extremely fortunate, you're going to get it. So what I would recommend is that you minimize your interactions with those people, which isn't always possible. I totally understand. If you hear some noise, it's raining outside, and it's about to be a thunderstorm outside. So if you hear some big crashing, it'll be the thunder, and then it will be Sophie running for the hills, trying to get under the couch or hide, because the poor little thing just cannot take the thunder, which I totally understand. If you can't minimize your interactions with them, just don't have those discussions with them. Because what I realized was that you making your dreams a reality is actually quite disconcerting to the people around you, for several reasons. 1, like I said, they're worried about you. 2, it kind of points out to them that maybe they haven't followed their dreams, and you're committing to and going for your dreams just points out the fact that they haven't done that for theirs. You can't help that. It's not your job to make them feel better. You're not rubbing their nose in the fact that they haven't gone after their dreams. You're just doing you, and you're allowed to do you, and you don't need to make yourself less to make these people feel better. You should be excited about your dream. You should feel free to talk about your dream, but you may want to find a different tribe to talk about your dream with. Maybe those people, you don't talk about what you're doing or what you're planning. You talk about other things, because that thunder, can you hear it? Because it's going to make them feel bad. It's going to bring your vibration down. So be prepared for the fact that there will be people who have negative reactions, who say negative things, who remind you of how impossible it is to have your dream come true. And you need not to listen to them, because they're talking from their perspective. They don't know you. They don't know what's in here. They don't know how smart you are up here. They don't know how determined you are to make your dream come true. They have various reasons for why they might do that. So decide that maybe these are not the people that you talk about your tiny house dream with. Maybe you find yourself a community, online or in person if you can, of people who are as excited about tiny houses and have dreams of building one or living in one. And those are the people that you can nerd out with. That's what I did. I had, some of my closest friends didn't get it, and they were worried about me. It wasn't the positive support that I was hoping for, not right away. But I understand now why. It just, it took me a while to figure out why. Once you figure that out, you can decide, right, who you're going to talk to. Find one or two friends that you can talk to about it, that can be as excited as you are. If you don't have that opportunity, then what I want you to do is find a community, find a tribe online, virtually, that you can get involved with and talk to and share your dreams with. And each step, ask questions. They'll be able to share information. It's really important, because you need to be excited. You deserve to be excited about your tiny house dream, because you're going to make it a reality. I have faith in you. I have faith in you. And I'm really good at reading people. Not everybody's going to be super excited for you. They'll have various reasons. Either it'll make them feel bad about the fact that they've never gone after their dreams, or they don't even have any, or they'll be worried about you, genuinely concerned about you, because they don't know how you're going to make it happen, and their imagination isn't big enough to visualize what you visualize. I guess number 4 is to absolutely never give up. It really doesn't matter how long it takes. So it takes 5 years between the first time that you watch your first tiny house video and head down that rabbit hole, and you walk in the door of your tiny house after it gets delivered. So what? That's not a big deal. Those 5 years were going to pass anyways. So they can pass with you moving towards your dream, or they can pass with you standing still and wishing that you had started 5 years ago. Those 5 years are going to happen anyways. It really doesn't matter how old you are. I waited until my kids were out of the house, and then it became Mama's time for a dream. And my kids are my biggest advocates. I mean, they're thrilled about the tiny house, about my YouTube channel, Instagram. They just are my biggest cheerleaders. But you know what? Even if they weren't, I would have still done it. There's a song out right now that says, I know I've got this because I've had it all along. Yeah. I mean, you're strong. You can do this. You don't have to be like everybody else, because everybody else is kind of boring. You're not boring. I know you're not boring. Male, female, young, old. You can make anything happen. Think back to all the times in your life when things got hard. And and you thought at first, there's no way. And you did, because you know what? Those were the times where failure was not an option. You can do it because you've already done it. And that's actually really powerful if you think about it. Because once you remind yourself that you've already done some hard stuff, this is no different. I've had people say, I can't believe you did it, or that's so cool, I could never do that. That's one I hear all the time. Yeah, that's really cool that you did that, but I could never do that. Isn't there, I think, is it a Henry Ford quote? Whether you think you can or you think you can't, either way you're right. Exactly. If you go through life saying, yeah, that's really cool. Tiny houses are really cool, but I could never build one. Tiny houses are really cool, but I could never afford one. Tiny houses are really cool, but I could never get rid of all my stuff. You've just created a self-fulfilling prophecy, and you're right. But if you tell yourself, yes, I can, then you've also created a self-fulfilling prophecy. That's the pep talk. I'm here to tell you, if I can do this, you can do this. I'm cooking in my beautiful kitchen on a beautiful Saturday, even though it's raining out. I'm in my home, and I created this. And I have this sense of pride. I manifested this. But I didn't sit back on the sidelines and go, ooh, I really want a tiny house. Bring me a tiny house. Make it all happen. No. You've got to do shit. You manifest. You visualize. And when opportunities present, you act. Because the universe rewards action. Keep doing something that gets you towards your goal of living in a tiny house. If you need support and you need encouragement and you don't have anybody else in your life right now that believes in your dream, I believe in you. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. So I'll see you in the next video. Bye.